All right. Next up on the docket, we have Epic Games has signed a deal for a bunch of investment money, $1.25 billion they've secured in funding from companies such as a bunch of venture capitalist companies that nobody knows about, except for Kleiner Perkins. I know who they are, but I don't know if anybody else does. So according to the Wall Street Journal, that brings their valuation to a massive $15 billion for Epic Games, which is a lot of money. That's
what the fuck?
Big amount.
Talk about the best move ever made.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. Like, because now they have more people involved in like telling them what they can and cannot do. Because like with investments, you also can acquire board seats through that. And if you're sitting on the board, you now have a say in what the company does next. So that could mean more and more like, hey, we want you to make money. We don't care about the quality of your games anymore. So that concerns me.
Strictly from a numbers standpoint, then yes, this is a very good move.
Yeah.
But yes, I definitely agree. Like, that's not good.
So they say that the investment is going to create powerful partnerships with highly strategic firms and individuals at the forefront of technology, entertainment, professional sports, esports, and live events. So that's one of the reasons why you would take investments, is that you want to get assets and insight from people who have the abilities to help you expand upon areas that you're not necessarily skilled at. So what I'm curious about, just from like a equity standpoint, like they have 48%. So that would mean that there's only 52% left of ownership. So these other companies that bought in must not be getting equity in any capacity, because there's only 2% left or whatever. And if Tim Sweeney and this group still has ownership, what they must be doing instead is, like I mentioned earlier, like the board seat. Like if you invest X amount of dollars, you now have a seat on the board to have a say in the way our company goes. Right. But you don't get the equity coming in from the money that we raise. Right. But I mean, they might get something back on their investment, but they're not going to own it like long term or something. Right. I don't know how that works. But
now I'm curious, like, what's next for Epic? They just acquired all this funding. Like, what are they going to do next?
It's going to be epic, whatever it is.
We can only hope, man. We can only hope. Because at first they were like, you know, with Paragon, they're like, well, this is not going to cost anything, but you can buy the bundle, whatever. We're going to make this really cool MOBA style game. And now it's Fortnite, which is a huge moneymaker, which, I mean, they're doing a good job. They are doing a good job with that. People love it. Making lots of money. They're making stuff people want to play. So that's good. Yeah. But it's like, what is next?
Yeah. I mean, they said here, this isn't going to necessarily go towards Fortnite itself, but it's going to go towards other things in their system. So I'm thinking that they might, I mean, I think this would be a good catalyst for them to then take this money and jump off into
do something different,
taking more risks like they did with Paragon, which didn't work.
Right.
But doing that kind of idea in a different realm. So a lot of money that they're just going to do all kinds of crazy stuff with. Basically, you're just going to see Epic brand everywhere on everything.
It went from them kind of being low key to like.
Speaking of which, side note on so Red Dead Redemption, like, you know, we haven't really seen much advertising about it up until like very recently, right?
Right.
And I listened to, this is my guilty pleasure, but I listened to a podcast called My Dad Wrote a Porno. Effing Rockstar was advertising and My Dad Wrote a Porno. I feel like that's the most random market for them to be targeting. But then again, I listen to it and I play video games, and they My Dad Wrote a Porno apparently has 1.8 million downloads or something like that.
Wow.
An episode. So like they have a huge, massive audience that they can reach with like one fell swoop. So the first thing you hear when you listen to the last two episodes, which I'm finally officially caught up with the entire season, series actually in general, which is crazy. The first like 30 seconds is a Rockstar advertisement. It's like, son of a bitch. That's smart.
Look at that.
That's smart. And
I bet they listen to it too.
It costs a whole lot.
Right.
Head on over to TheGamer.net for our full podcast episode for our weekly game impressions and top headlines of the week.
That's one of me doing an interview. Here's one of all of us. We'll make some cool things.
Brett's also right here.
Like this video, subscribe, keep up with all the latest video game news and opinions that you care about right here on The Inner Gamer.